what have they said about these times, like 2024, 2025? Did they predict it? Like, have you guys been prepared for this in a way?
Yeah, in a way. So when I first started publicly channeling, it was with Tobias, and I didn't know anything about Tobias. And oddly enough, I never even asked right away, who the hell are you? But along the way, somewhere, I was like, wow, I wonder who this Tobias character is. And he said, I'm your father. And that really upset me because
Oh.
my father had just passed away not too long before that, and there wasn't any relationship between Tobias and my father. And but it got me upset, and then I started doing research, and I started asking around and looking around, and I finally found Tobias it was in the apocryphal books of the Bible, a book called the Book of Tobit or Tobias. And I think in Norway you have a Tobias there too, like a saint or something, a different one. But and I read the story, the Book of Tobit, a beautiful, beautiful story of how Tobias he was Jewish, enslaved by some other country at the time, but he worked as a buyer for the king, so he was responsible for buying, even though he was a slave. It wasn't like slavery as we know it now. And but one day he was blinded when a bird pooped in his eye, and yeah, then he had to send his young son Tobias Jr. out on a journey to recover money for him that somebody was holding. They didn't have banks back then. And the story picks up with young Tobias, accompanied by Archangel Raphael, going on this long, beautiful, beautiful journey to recover the father's money, and comes back, has now found a potion to heal his father's eyes, and they live happily ever after. So I discovered Tobias, and then all of a sudden it made sense. Father. He was my father in that lifetime, and it's so beautiful. It's one of my favorite stories, obviously. So I channeled Tobias for 10 years, and his job was to gather everybody together. He kind of put out a clarion call, like Archangel Gabriel would do, but he put out this call, and people just started flooding into Crimson Circle. And the weird thing we noticed right away was like, even though it was from all over the world, it was like people knew each other. I mean, there was a bond right away. So it wasn't just like a group of dissociated people. And there are people that have been with us ever since as part of this work. And his job was to gather us together, but also to basically say, you're not crazy. You think you're crazy, you got all this stuff going on in your head, but you're not crazy. So he really helped us heal a lot of wounds, to realize that we're here for a very, very important time on the planet, which is right now. And then he left after 10 years, which was kind of weird. Suddenly just said, okay, bye-bye, I'm leaving now. And, at that point I thought, okay, my channeling career is done, and it's over with. But it was fine. It was fun. I had a great time. But then Saint Germain came in, under the name of Adamus Saint Germain, and he wanted to use the Adamus to specifically differentiate himself from the other Saint Germain materials that are out there. So he came in, and his job was now, okay, we're going to go into realization. We're going to go from your awakening into your realization, and then staying on the planet as embodied masters, because this right now is the time that you just mentioned. This is the time frame. And I'm answering a long answer to your question, but right now is it. I mean, so we spent the last 25 years preparing for it, getting over our wounds, getting over karma and everything like that, coming into mastery or realization, and now ultimately staying on the planet for the sole purpose, well, not the sole, but the main purpose of allowing our light to illuminate without any agenda, without saying, I want this politician or that politician, without not even world peace or anything like that. Absolute pure light without agenda. And what light does is it illuminates potentials. It's like lighting a candle in a dark room. suddenly you can see. And with that light that all of us are bringing in, and the work you're doing in your show, is opening potentials for humanity that they might not have otherwise seen, and potentials for things like peace and equality, financial equality, and racial equality, and everything else. But the shining the light is without that agenda. It's up to the people what they want to choose. So right now is the absolute pinnacle time, and probably I would say it really I mean, we've been leading up to it for a while, but it started about 2 years ago, and this epic time is going to go for another couple of years, because we have this convergence of things on the planet right now. We've got technology, which is artificial intelligence, is changing the world. And a lot of people, they say, I'm not technical, I really don't like the AI. It has nothing to do with technology. It is absolutely about the speed of change, or the speed of light. And that's essentially what AI is doing. It's dramatically increasing what I would call the speed, not literally speed, but the infusion of light onto the planet. And this is going to create major changes over the next couple of decades, but particularly right in front of us in about the next 10 years. There's nothing ever been done like it. Adamus talks about the fact that the changes occurred very slowly for a long time. Geez, what, in the early 1700s there was the invention of the sewing machine, and then the steam engine, and then not a lot. But now we can't even keep up with the changes. They're happening so quickly, and it's going to ultimately have a huge impact on the planet. And I'm going to jump into something that I would maybe take hours to explain, but at a certain point here, let's say within the next 10 years, there's going to be kind of a what you call a light split of the planet. In other words, part of the consciousness of the planet is going to go one direction, partly the other. So it's actually kind of creating almost different dimensions. And those who are really ready to go forward with things like love will go in one direction. People who want to continue to play games of power and abuse and manipulation, they'll go in another direction. And it'll happen without any chaos, or without war or anything like that. But suddenly it'll just happen, a true shifting on the planet.
Wow. Wow,
Sorry.
fascinating. My, oh my. Okay, I have to jump
By
back
the
to
way, I have to say that Adamus is kind of hanging out right here with me. And he's saying, God, you talk too much. He said, let her ask some questions. And I know, I'm trying to answer it. You
Jeff.
know how
I'm so used to that. My guests are beautiful communicators. So I always invite them back if I have more questions. So that's my
right. Oh,
plan
good.
with you.
Yeah.
To watch the full video, click the link below, and I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel.